is this treatment or torture? I'll weigh in. Plus, an obsessed admirer ends Marla Hanson's modeling career by hiring thugs to slash her face. Why do men target and destroy beauty? And later, this is the show your kids are obsessed with. It's MTV's Teen Mom, and the moms have become celebrities. Farrah Abraham takes your questions right here tonight. So let's get started. A teen with mental and behavioral difficulties is allegedly shocked into a catatonic state by a treatment center because he reportedly refused to remove his jacket. Tonight, a jury is pondering whether that facility is guilty of negligence, as video of the incidents, there we go, is shared in a Massachusetts courtroom. Now, we obtained some of that footage from MyFox Boston. Of course, I want to warn you, this footage is disturbing, but we're going to take a look at it.
No, 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 help me, help, 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 help me, help.
Okay, an expert testified that the teen fell into a catatonic state after being shocked over 30 times. Those are some of the burns, I believe, from the shocking. Now, look, from the having been shocked, a couple things I want to say about this story. One, please do not confuse what is going on here with shock therapy, as some people think about, which is a treatment for depression, where people are put asleep and an electrical current is run through their brain. That is different. This is a behavioral modification technique. And this is a complicated story. The fact is, please stop that. Thank you. This is a complicated story, and the fact is that this is an attempt to reduce medication use. These are desperate and aggressive interventions, not malice. The point is, this is a complicated issue, and it's easy to look at this video and go, oh my God, how is that possible? And maybe after we're done talking tonight, we'll still feel the same way, but it's complicated. All right, so how do we protect these kids without hurting them, without administering tons of medication, without putting them in seclusion or restraint? How do we protect them from one another? There was an article in the LA Times this week that talked about similar circumstances where patients, this is not patients, these are students obviously, are killing other patients because the staff doesn't have adequate means to restrain them. Joining me, GeorgiannaKelman, an attorney who advocates for children with special needs. She herself is also a mother of a special needs child. Ken Mullins is an attorney who represented the family that settled out of court with the treatment center in question. And Brian A. Joyce is a Massachusetts senator fighting to ban the use of shock therapy. Brian, now you say this is just flat-out torture. Tell me why.
Well, it really isn't as complicated as you suggest, I'd say respectfully. It is indeed torture. It's been ruled so by the United Nations. It's based largely on a discredited, I say barbaric practice, a pseudoscience from 50 or 60 years ago, the same practice that was used to, treat homosexuality in the 1930s and to deaden hogs prior to slaughter. Since 1971, when this facility opened as the Behavioral Research Institute, somewhat of Orwellian-sounding name that they've since changed to the Judge Rotenberg Center, 6 children in their care have died. There are absolutely no peer-reviewed medical journals or science to suggest that this so-called aversive therapy treatment is effective for long-term behavior modification. And truly, what goes on behind the walls of the JRC is barbaric. And I'm delighted. It's disgraceful what's going on, but I'm delighted that the public is now finally viewing this. We've been trying to shut this down for over a dozen years, and people before me.
Senator, this is a little confusing. I'm listening to you very carefully here. You said there's no peer-reviewed research to show alteration in long-term behavior. This does not look like a long-term behavioral intervention technique. It looks like a very short, acute-term behavioral adjustment. And my question is, well, your other attorney is shaking his head. I'll get to him in a second, but that's what it looks like to me. But my question is, this is an FDA-approved intervention. Where's the FDA ring in all this?
Let me address that. First of all, it is not peer-reviewed. There is no long-term benefit. One of your guests is from UCLA, I think was her degree. There's a professor there, Lovas, who looked at this and ruled that there's no long-term benefit. The science in early intervention has advanced extraordinarily in the last 50 or 60 years, and yet this facility, which it's making about $250,000 for each one of these children that they warehouse there, and It's just, they've spent $15 million over the past 10 years in legal fees and PR to try to keep this machine in operation. But really, we in government have a moral obligation to defend the defenseless. And who's more defenseless than the poor and the sick and the disabled? And here, the disabled children at JRC in Canton, Massachusetts. It is indeed barbaric what goes on there.
Ken, I see you getting agitated at some of this conversation. Please ring in.
Dr. Drew, this is a house or a building full of terror. This can be deemed nothing less than terror. When somebody gets into this facility, they don't leave. They don't allow them to leave. It's called the Judge Rottenberg Center. Judge Rottenberg was the judge who authorized or allowed all this shock to take place. So they named the center
Gentlemen,
after him.
I got to interrupt. I'm sorry I have to interrupt. If that is true, where are the state regulatory agencies to intervene? Where is the Department of Mental Health? Where is the HIP? Where is JCO? Where are your organizations that review these safety and standard practices? Why haven't they intervened if this is such a house of terror? Where have they been?
Let me speak to that for a moment. This facility opened in Rhode Island in 1971. Rhode Island kicked them out. They were kicked out of California. Indeed, I think Massachusetts, at this facility, it's the only such place in the country and indeed perhaps the world. Were we to have caught Osama bin Laden alive, we could not have done this under international law.
Georgianna, I've got somebody in the studio wants to interrupt. I'm sorry. She said there is a facility in California. The exact same facility is still here, is it not?
There is a facility in California that's sisters with this school. They don't employ the same electroshock treatment.
Yes.
I don't want to get too much into that, but it's something that needs to be looked into as well. Aside from that, you asked the question, where's the Department of Mental Health?
Yes.
Where is the government? You know,
the president was
asked 2 years ago to look
Hold
into
on,
this.
I have an attorney here who specializes in this area, and she wants to comment.
The problem is, the reason why this is still open is the parents themselves that continually lobby. They've been investigated myriads of times since 1980.
Wait, but this facility we're talking about that everyone's taking aim at is a facility that prides itself in not using medication. Now, as a physician, we take heat for using medication on cases like this. So this was an alternative for that. Hang on, guys. Why is this not working out?
Here's the thing. Philosophically, theoretically, this can work. There are children that have severe emotional disturbances. They cut off their ears. They break off their arms.
They kill other kids.
They kill other children. In those severely extreme, isolated circumstances, frankly, these places are needed. However, I'm a mother of a child with special needs, and to be honest with you,
and you're an attorney that represents special needs kids.
I represent special needs children. Were this to be done to my child, they would have to electroshock treat me to calm me down.
Okay, fair enough.
But I get theoretically the need for extreme cases, because I have those.
This doesn't look like an extreme case, though, does it?
No, absolutely not. Now, having said that, I think this case is criminal. I think it borders on criminal.
Okay, fair enough. Ken, you want to ring in?
I have asked the Massachusetts State Attorney General to investigate this place criminally. And the only reason why everybody's talking about this place now is because some judge in Massachusetts finally had the wherewithal to allow this tape to come out. And now people can see how this kid is tied down, how this kid is held down. Most of them are tied down with their face to the floor, and they're shocked over and over and over again, 30, 40, 50 times, hours after the behavior. My client was shocked for telling a staff member no. Boom, he got shocked. He hit the floor. Kids sit there and watch other kids get shocked. My client today is in the hospital because after we got him out of there, he relives the nightmare of what happened there every day. He's in there for significant flashbacks. This is a place, as you walk through the halls, the staff says you can smell the skin burning. That's what's been going on here. The Massachusetts legislature, other than Brian Joyce, has repeatedly stopped or interfered with this place being shut down. This place is a horror. It's torture.
Okay, Ken.
So,
Ken
Dr. Drew, let me just add to.
You know, I'm out of time, Senator. I think we have walked through and got kind of a clearer picture of this. It's a complicated topic. However, I have the three of you who are people that understand this topic. It is, so I don't want people looking at the horror of what we watch and go, oh my God, this is obviously a bad thing. But after speaking with you guys, I think we can all conclude it is a bad thing in that particular case, at least. Yes. Georgianna Ken, Senator, thank you for joining me. I have to go, gentlemen. I got to go ahead. MTV's Team Monfair Abraham joins me to take calls and response.